One of the exciting things about the idea of a spy out in the world doing things is all the exotic locations they go to, all the places in the world that we may never go to.
The locations become characters, and I think it helps to give the film some oxygen and some scale.
The locations have been absolutely insane.
For me, Bond was an early cinematic hero that transcended geography and nationality.
When you watch the beginning of a Bond film, you are expecting some kind of spectacle, right? In some ways, I wanted to subvert that in Norway. We have a surprise opening, which is not even from Bond's perspective.
Thematically, we felt it worked really well. It was a beautiful canvas. There's something dreamlike about this. It's about being haunted by these figures from your past and how those figures can really hang over you throughout your entire life.
This lake is normally a sea of snow with a very thin layer of ice underneath. We have, through the process of removing the snow and allowing the cold nights to naturally freeze the water on the surface of the lake, managed to cultivate it and create a safe working environment for our crew and also build our house in the background.
The frozen lake water forms a type of ice that we call steel ice. And it's this very strong ice. In English, it's black ice. Half a meter of black ice. You could run a very heavy tractor, like 8 tons. So it has been a very efficient way of strengthening the ice.
We wanted a sense of isolation, and we wanted a sense that they were separate from the world. We ended up with some very spooky and almost scary film footage. It's a Bond beginning unlike any other.
We start the film with a flashback to her childhood and trauma that she went through. Then we pick Bond and Leia up at Matera. They go through an action sequence. The stakes are very high.
Matera is one of the oldest cities in the world. It's certainly one of the most extraordinary locations we've ever been in.
We have the DB5, which was reconstructed after Skyfall and is in perfect condition and has a few added extras and does everything that Bond's DB5 should do, but we do it and more, all in this incredible backdrop of Matera.
It is not built for the modern world in a way that the roads are narrow and short. It doesn't, from that point of view, seem like the obvious place to do a car chase. I think the skill and success of this sequence will be that you can use the hillside layout of the town to great effect with the stunt and special effects sequence.
There was a lot of apprehension. Matera's never seen anything this size before. A lot of filming here, but just nothing on this scale.
Well, it's hard to get the car going fast in a city like Matera, where the roads tend to be very narrow.
We use the environment and the vehicle in a way that you don't expect.
When you're doing car chases, you need to make sure that you have secure lock-offs so that no one wanders into the traffic. It is really amazing when you pull all of this off, and I'm mesmerized by the sheer scale of the whole operation.
We are on our Ardveriki estate in the Scottish Highlands, and we're filming New Bond.
I was really, really keen to do a Bond driving chase sequence off-road in a really, really challenging environment. You know, up in the Highlands, it's stunning. Everywhere you look, it looks like you can drive. Normally you can't.
When you're working on a Bond film, the collective expectations are high. Everybody wants to make the best film possible. So you want to find the best locations that are going to work. You want to have the best stunts that are going to look spectacular on screen. They're genuinely driving down steep, rocky hillsides across rivers, going off ramps.
The Scottish part of this car chase was enormous. It was an enormous undertaking. We essentially took over a private estate. Logistically, it was very complicated.
Narrow roads, locations are far from each other. It's been a lot of work, but I think when you see the vehicle performing, it'll be quite a spectacle.
Barbara mentioned early on the idea of going back to Jamaica for this story.
Jamaica was the place where Ian Fleming created the character of Bond and wrote all the books and short stories there.
He ends up living in Jamaica, which is basically James Bond's sort of spiritual home. It feels like such a Bond thing, whether it's Dr. No or Live and Let Die. The connection is a solid one, and it felt like the right thing to do.
Dr. No, the first James Bond film, was obviously shot in Jamaica, in Ocherias, Rockabessa area, which is the Golden Eye area.
Even though the house that we built is nothing like where Fleming lived, you could feel the wildness and that living on the edge of nature that feels just right for a guy like Bond, who has seen and experienced what he has and is looking to live a quieter, more peaceful life.
And the Jamaicans have been incredible, right from the get-go. Certainly in our props department, art department, construction, all of those key departments, we've found great people in Jamaica, and it's been an absolute privilege working with them.
This is an island of just stunning beauty. Not just the land, the water, but the people, the energy, the spirit, the culture that lives here. We have all of that comes to bear, and it really only helps to drive the building of the character and drive the story forward. You know, all we have to do then as actors is just show up in the midst of that and live in it.
I'm Jamaican. My parents are Jamaican, they're born and bred here. Jamaica is rich, flamboyant colours, and it has a heat and a history and a grit to it that not many people get to see. I feel very in touch being here, and I feel grateful to bring my culture to the cinema.
We're in Port Antonio in Jamaica, where we shot part of our film that's supposed to be Cuba. The government here has been absolutely amazing and supportive for us.
We've had incredible support from the Jamaican government. If you go and talk to a company and say, look, would you be interested in somebody flying a plane in very close proximity to your clothes? They're going to say no. When you tell them James Bond's doing it, they're up for it.
We want the locations to be sensational and stunning. We want people to remember this film for every reason.